Now that Superman is officially in theaters, we have some absolutely insane news about the entire future of the DCU, 2 new spin-off TV shows, plus info about how DC tried to sabotage Marvel and so much more, so let's get into this. So let's first start off with DC's plan for the future. We'll get into the specific projects, but first just how many projects they plan on releasing every year, because we now know they plan on releasing 2 live-action movies a year, 1 animated movie, and a mixture of some animated and live-action TV shows, aiming for about like 2 to 3 TV shows a year. And all of this info comes from the Wall Street Journal. They did a huge article on DC Studios. And as you can see at the very top of this tweet, which I think we kind of all assume, but DC plans to reestablish all their best known characters in this new DC universe before eventually reuniting them in a Justice League film, which sounds like it's going to be very far down the line. Now, before I get to the confirmed movies and TV shows releasing in 2026 and the rest of the crazy news, first we got to talk about this fact that James Gunn is reportedly considering TV spin-off shows for Mr. Terrific and Jimmy Olsen from the Superman movie. Honestly, I would love this. Both of these characters were absolutely incredible in the movie, and these could be great smaller scale stories. Like maybe you give me a Jimmy Olsen show that's focusing in on the Daily Planet and kind of wacky adventures they're going on. And Mr. Terrific really won me over. His character was just super cool. I loved his power, so I'd be down for a TV show with him as well. So for 2026, we pretty much know exactly what we're going to be getting from DC for the live action projects. At least we know we're going to be getting the Supergirl movie in July 2026, followed by the Clayface movie in September of 2026. Yes, I still find it incredibly odd that Clayface is going to be their 3rd ever movie in this new DCU, but they're starting filming it next month. This thing is going ahead, and hey, you have to respect James Gunn for sticking to what he said. Like, he's just focusing on getting good scripts and greenlighting. He doesn't care how weird or obscure the stories and characters really are. This actually goes exactly with what James Gunn was just talking about on the red carpet of the Superman premiere, because someone asked him if like, oh, is the tone of this movie going to be similar for all the DCU films going forward? Which I'm not gonna lie, was kind of a goofy question. Obviously, they're all not going to be like Superman, but anyways, he gave this really great response saying, it's really important to me that every project has its own stamp on it. This movie, referring to Superman, is very different from the R-rated movie we're making, a body horror movie with Clayface. It's very different from the Sergeant Rock movie we're developing. It's very different from Supergirl, which is a space fantasy. Craig Gillespie just walked by here a second ago, who directed that. Again, talking about Supergirl. So every one of these movies is completely different. Maybe some of these projects won't work out, but I really like this mindset from James Gunn because it's really going to prevent this universe from feeling very repetitive and stale like the MCU has kind of gotten to, because a lot of the MCU movies just follow the same exact formula. It feels like you're watching the same movie over and over again now at this point that we're like 35 films into it. I like that James Gunn early on is trying to diversify the DCU and really give us a lot of different projects. We have a ton more news to get to, so let me finish up their 2026 slate. So I already went over the movies and kind of got sidetracked there. We also know the Lanterns TV show will be releasing early 2026, maybe around January or February. Now for the possibility of the animated project, nothing is confirmed yet, but we do know they are working on an animated Starfire and My Adventures with Green Lantern TV show, so maybe one of these will be releasing next year as one of their animated shows. We have no idea what the animated movie is going to be though. Now before I get to the rest of the crazy news in this article, let me know in the comments below, what DC character or team do you think should be the first animated movie set in this universe? Because obviously there's so much potential with an animated film here. This article also talks about a lot of things that were happening a couple of years ago at DC and kind of how things were shifting. First of all, James Gunn immediately pretty much stepped in and canceled a 3rd Wonder Woman movie, which thank you very much. There's also some wild stuff in here, like apparently the Warner Brothers CEO David Zaslav was in talks with The Rock on how to fix DC, and he was actually going to be like the James Gunn figure that was going to be like, oh, you're going to fix our entire new DC universe, but that quickly ended after Black Adam was a complete flop at the box office with audiences and critics, which is honestly just insane that they're like, yeah, this guy's going to save us from our comic book movies that are failing. We also now know, thanks to this article, that back in 2017, which keep in mind is when like Avengers Infinity War was filming, Warner Brothers executives actually tried to meet with Kevin Feige to convince him to switch sides and run DC instead, but obviously those talks did not amount to anything, as it says here. I mean, I understand the mindset, like, oh, this guy has been the main producer and lead of this Marvel Cinematic Universe, let him just come over to DC and do that, but I'm sorry, you would have had to give this guy like $1 trillion to come over to DC, and even then he might not have done it. This guy loves the MCU so much. Kind of a random fact here, but David Corenswet, who obviously plays Superman in the new movie, has actually revealed in a video that he actually auditioned for the role of Adam Warlock in Guardians Volume 3, which honestly I can kind of see now that he says it. We got some updates about the Superman box office. As of right now, which is Saturday around like 2 p.m. as I'm filming this video, Superman has already crossed $96 million globally. Again, the movie's only been in theaters since like the Thursday night previews now. Speaking of, on its Thursday night opening night previews, it actually brought in $40.3 million, which is the biggest of the entire year so far for a Thursday night, which I'm really glad that as of right now, this movie's overperforming from all its early box office projections for its opening weekend, because this film is really really great. I hope the positive word of mouth is really going to spread and help this movie do better, because this movie has me super excited for the future of the DC universe. I want to see all these projects. We could not have this movie flop and get them all canceled. If you made it this far, drop a like on the video, and if you want to see all my other Superman videos from this week, including my review for the movie, my post-credit scene and ending breakdown, my James Gunn film ranking, and so much more, click the playlist above my head right now, and thank you for watching.